Hello and welcome to another episode of Android Dev 101. Today we're going to be dealing with exceptions, as you can see through a lot of our titles. We're going to be dealing more specifically with uncaught exceptions. So we create a little demo app here. Does not really anything. Let's go to it. Okay, so basically we just create a null pointer and try to run a function on it, which, as many of you should know already, that will cause a null pointer exception. So if we run our app, we'll see the uncaught exception error. Oh, unfortunately, uncaught errors, that's the name of our application, has stopped. Okay. Now a lot of you might want to deal with this in a different way. Maybe put your own custom pop-up here, or even just dismiss it. I've seen a lot of applications lately that it seems to me they're getting some kind of exception and they'll just close the application so the user can reopen it again. This is actually used a lot in iPhone. As far as I know, the default functionality in iPhone is that when an uncaught exception is thrown, the application will just simply close. So the user will just maybe think they accidentally hit home or another trick sleight of the hand like that. So let's see what we can do here. So first, we subclassed our application class. The application class is kind of a general class for all your application. Will let you manipulate a lot of different things. We subclassed it so that we could set a default uncaught exception handler. Now what this handler does is, as we saw in our main activity, we're running something on a null. This error text view is null because we didn't attach to anything. And when we try to run a method on a null element, it's going to throw an exception. Because we're not surrounding this thing kind of try or catch blocks, we're not going to be able to catch that exception, and it's going to get thrown and thrown and thrown until it becomes defined as uncaught. No one's really taking care of it, no one is catching it and dealing with it. So by setting this default uncaught exception handler, when any exceptions reach that level, when they keep getting thrown until no one can we can't deal with them anymore, then they'll end up here in our uncaught exception method, because we're implementing on our application an uncaught exception handler. Okay, so we grab that exception. We're not really doing anything with it, but you could take that exception and then send it, to your server from here. You could log it in some log file. A lot of people do that. For this demo, we're just gonna simply ignore what the exception is, and we're gonna pop up a little message to the user. We do that by creating a pending intent and sending it, and then calling system exit. Now this is not necessarily recommended by Google very often. We're calling system exit here because I'm going to assume that whatever causes exception is going to destroy the application. We need to close out the application. So by calling a pending intent, we'll start a new activity of our choosing, and then the application that's been destroyed by this null pointer exception will be exited. Much wiser thing to increase on this demo would be actually decide what to do according to the exception. If you know it's an exception that's going to cause the application to fail and be destroyed, then maybe calling system exit might be a valid option. Again, Google usually say system exit is not a good option for most things, but we're dealing with exceptions here, so that could be the most applicable. So what we do is we call this pending intent, which is going to open our activity. Let's go to the manifest. So this special dialog activity we actually define as a dialog. We'll see what that does when we run it, but that's going to pop it up on any screen like it's a dialog. And here's our activity. So we basically just open up, we set a title according to what we defined in strings, just a simple title, uncaught, is our title for our error, and we're going to pull a random text to set for our message, just to give the user an interesting different message if these uncaught exceptions keep happening, which hopefully will never happen in your app, but just in case they do, it'll look something like this. So we went back to home. Now our application is hopefully about to pop up. There's our application. It threw an exception, and now this is our actual dialog. As you see, it goes on top of whatever was below it, because this is an actual activity with a dialog theme. So you can see the home screen behind it. It's really cool. I highly recommend learning about how to make activity like dialogues, and you can pop up basically something that looks exactly like a dialog on the home screen. And you see it has our title and a little message. Uh-oh, what happened? I think
something went wrong, and the user can back out of this activity as a normal activity. So if we click back, this will close it. I also add a little close button. If we click it, it closes it. So instead of having the Android default message, we had a little pop-up dialog that looked maybe a little nicer. Again, you can totally get rid of that and just have the application exit completely, and then the user will just click to open it again. So thank you for joining us today. I hope that these tools will be helpful with your further application development, and highly recommend that you do have some kind of uncaught exception handler to deal with any exceptions that may occur that you didn't anticipate. So the source code for this application I'm going to put up, and you'll be able to look at it and play with it and add your own extensions to it.